This is a cow. This is the business end. No, stop it. More specifically, this part. To give you that. Let's talk about a family farm and build a project using Carveco, Lightburn, and my Onefinity to showcase the farm and tell a story about where Vernon from the Hinkleshop came from. So I grew up on a small to medium-sized dairy farm. My family had anywhere between 60 to 100 cows at any given time. And my day started early in the morning. I would go to the barn and have to do the barn chores, and then I would go off to school, finish my day at school, return home, and do those chores all over again. I didn't realize then, as I do now, how much I enjoyed it, and wouldn't mind going back if I could. But sadly, the farm is no longer in our possession. We closed the farm, and it's now run by a nice Amish family in New York. But on that farm, I learned how to work independently, as well as on a team between my brother and my father. A lot of times, the chores were done side by side, hand in hand. My father was always quick with a joke. You could tell that by the little smile he had back there. And I'm sure he'd be proud of this little project that we're making. And this video is a tribute to him, his farm, and Father's Day. So you may be asking, okay, you were a dairy farmer. At what point did the woodworking come into play? Well, that's quite simple. My grandfather was a woodworker, my father was a woodworker, and so am I. It's 3 generations of woodworking. We all loved it. My father had built buildings. Every building on the farm was built by him. My grandfather the same. We suffered a fire back in 77, 76, somewhere there, and Dad rebuilt the entire farm by hand. I helped him with that. And that's where the love of woodworking actually came from and where it began. Now here we're using the X-Tool D1. I mentioned that earlier, or actually I put some text in there earlier to show you that. And here it's cutting out the outline of the animals and things I'm going to use to make this project. New dust boot that I'm designing. I think my father would be proud of me coming up with something like this. Look how that thing is sucking up the dust and the chips. Shouldn't have dust on a CNC. You should only have chips. But as you can see, this thing really pulls in hard. It's working very well. That was something that we did a whole lot of on the farm, was cleanup. Now we're going to finish this thing with a simple lacquer finish, 4 to 5 coats on this thing, and I think it came out very, very nicely. It highlights what we had back on the farm, some tractors, some cows, and a goat or two just for laughs. But there it is, a little tribute to my dad on Father's Day. I love him. I miss him. He's no longer with us. Both of my parents have gone at this point. But if he could take a look at this thing, I think he'd say that was all right. We're not building a church. It all started here with those two, Mom and Dad. My father just chilling on one birthday, sitting on a front porch, and there's that smile again. He was asked to behave himself, and he never could.